One give right? First, pray and do introductions. You don't mind. Someone to do that nowadays, right?
Mwenyezi Mungu tujalie kuwa na watu wema na ufungulie mkutano huu kwa wema na utuelekeze kwa ambayo ni mema. Mwenyezi Mungu tunakuomba amani na tunakuomba tuletee mvua yenye baraka na neema, tuletee chaka, tulete roho zetu ziwe pamoja kama tunaungana na kuomba kwa Mwenyezi Mungu usituache tuwe ni wenye kupotea kama waliopotea. Tunaomba na kunyenyekea. Amen.
Sorry for taking you back, but I thought it's important for all of us to know which organizations are represented before now I take the floor and currently begin from this end.
My name is Adam Tosfai. I'm from the Organization for Social Science Research in Eastern and Southern Africa, based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. I'm Knowledge and ICT Manager, and I'm also the Research Uptake Officer for this project, using inclusive mechanisms in preventing and countering violent extremism in the area, which the research has been conducted in Kenya and Uganda. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I am Mokona NSC Quality.
From South Carolina.
Students at which institution? Okay, sir.
Good morning. I'm Ahmed Rahman from Barisheba. I'm from Mahini Youth Organization.
All right.
Good morning. My name is Churchill Kumu. I'm a youth development worker from Enjoying Everyday Life.
Jambo. Naitwa Abdul Sulema, natoka katika group na youth and no borders.
At the back.
Sunday Okela Ngoma. I'm a professor at Addis Ababa University. I'm also the principal investigator for this research, and some of you have seen me. Thank you.
My name is Phyllis Mwema. I work for an organization called the Kenya Police Force.
Welcome. My name is Krupena Mkuni. I'm the Executive Director of Organization for Social Science Research in Eastern and Southern Africa. Organization for Social Science Research in Eastern and Southern Africa is based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. It has its presence in 21 Eastern and South African countries. Kenya is one of them. This research particularly that we are doing on youth inclusive mechanisms in preventing and countering violent extremism is focused on the IGAD region with 8 countries. But other than the in the IGAD region, we have been directed by the UN strategy on counterterrorism to focus on Kenya and Uganda. Kenya is looked at as a moderate country in as far as terrorism is concerned, and Uganda is rated as latent. Of course, Somalia is looked at as most violent. Those are their own parameters. So as we wanted to find out, is this true or not? I will not go into the details of the research. You can see we have partners. We are 4 of us. We have IDRC as the donor. We have Australia as the lead organization coordinating the others. Then we have IGAD C1, which is linking us to the policymakers and the various countries that are involved in this research. And we have PeaceNet, that is our implementing partner. It is on the ground. It is the one that was our gatekeeper. Without PeaceNet, we wouldn't have collected the data that we have collected now. So I want to welcome you all and call on to your engagement in this particular research, dissemination of the findings so that we can dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pena. Now I give the floor to Ms. PG, Program Manager, Italy Foundation for Peace Building and Community Security, being implemented by Kenya Suweru in the Ministry of the Interior and Coordination of the National Government. Please, Ms.
My name is Becca Chikiri. It is not my first time to interact with some of you here. Some we've interacted, and I am currently like a month old as a program manager for UNDP and the government project, peace building and community security. I know most of you used to know Dixon Magotsi, so I took over from Dixon a month ago, and in that capacity. From here to interact with you, and just to give you some remarks from the NSC is that, you know NSC, the National Steering Committee on Peace Building and Conflict Management, it's based on the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government, but basically it coordinates peace building activities and programs, initiatives in the country and at cross-border level, and also implementing the C1 protocol on issues of the establishment of the conflict early warning or the conflict early warning and early response. So Kenya as a country, and the NSC for that matter, acts as a CVE, that is the conflict early warning and early response unit in this country. So like if you go to Uganda, you get another CVE, the Kenya CVE. In all IGAD member countries, that is the establishment. And one thing I would like to mention is we're looking at the program for today, and it's about inclusivity of youth in issues of preventing and countering violent extremism. And something that I would like to mention is that as a country, the total percentage of the population comprises of the youth. But if you look at the global, globally, is that majority of the population, or the highest population of the youth, the population globally, the highest percentage comes from the youth. So coming back to Africa, Africa as a continent, we realize that 35% of its total population comprises of the youth. And in this case, the youth between 15 and 35. That is how we define our youth. But coming back closer home, you are all aware that 70%, 65 and above 70% of the total population, not really 70%, but around 35.2% of the total population comprises of the youth. And there are so many challenges that the youth, face on a day-to-day basis because of the issues that issues about employment, unemployment, issues about marginalization, issues about failure to access funding, issues about the push and pull factors that attract our youth, make our youth susceptible and vulnerable to crime, to robbery, to violent extremism and other vices. Right? So as a country, those are the challenges that youth face. And our discussion should, as per the program today, is about how then do we involve our youth in socio-economic programs. So that at least, these are vibrant segment of the society. They have so much energy. They are majority. They feel marginalized and left behind. But we as a country, we need to really figure out how then do we get the best of our youth. Why do you think we need to involve the youth is that they have an increased access to their peers and other identities. And then I mentioned earlier that failure to engage our youth in issues of socio-economical empowerment and diverting the energies to economic, aspects could really help them so that they don't feel like they're left behind, they're not engaged or involved, or they don't participate, be it in peace processes, be it in decision-making levels, be it in contributing to development, programs, the policies. They need to be made aware. What is it that they can get? What is it that is in store for them, so that they are at least aware? Like I say, a number of challenges that face our youth today, but the worst part of it is now the female gender in terms of the age. Yeah, it even becomes very difficult. The issue of lack of funding. But you realize that the government has a lot. The national government and the county government as well, they have quite a number of opportunities for our youth. So then how do we get this information? How do we access such funding? So there's so much that happens, and I can tell you that there is, at least when you look at the institutional establishment, you realize that there's the State Department of Gender, Youth and, the Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs. That is where the youth component. But then we say, at least in our programs, we ensure that we mainstream programs, interventions that are geared towards, youth empowerment. So if you come back closer to the NSC where I work, we have a very strong infrastructure for peace, comprising of the peace committees. But when we were constituting this structure, we ensured that we factored all the segments of the population in the structure. So you realize that there is a percentage that went to the women, there is a percentage that went to the youth, there is a percentage of the number that went to the differently abled, the people with disabilities and other institutions, including the national government, administration officers, the law enforcement agencies, so that we have everyone on board. So that when it comes to decisions, when it comes to discussions and engagements, and even intervention, discussions around that, we ensure that everyone's concerns are addressed. We have everyone participating in that structure. And again, I believe that is what we have done as the NSC and as the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government. My colleague is here, my senior is here. You will attest to it that in all the programs that we implement, we ensure that we don't leave anyone behind. We have to have everyone on board, and especially focusing on the young people. There is a lot. And I would like to say that as the Ministry of Interior, through the National Steering Committee on Peace Building and Conflict Management, we have developed an action plan on 1325, focusing on the youth. Remember, women, peace and security. But again, we have an aspect on young women. Where do young women participate? What are these programs that we have that are geared towards protecting young women on violence, from violence against women and girls, for instance? From protecting them, what programs do we have? So that we developed in conjunction with the Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs, but then it was the Ministry of State for, Gender and Social something. The ministries keep on metamorphosizing, they change. But right now, we are implementing the 4 pillars of 1325. 1325 is not a number, it's a United Nations Security Council resolution, one of its kind that speaks to women participation in peace and security. So that is what we are currently implementing. The co-chairs are the Ministry of Interior, Coordination of National Government, and the Ministry of State for Public Service and Youth Affairs. So they implement the 2 pillars on participation and recovery, participation, relief and recovery. We as a ministry implement the 2 pillars on protection and prevention. So a lot of it has gone in, but we realize that as a country we have been implementing programs without really documenting. Program geared towards participation of women, on socio-economic empowerment and other, aspects. But currently we have we had an inception meeting with a small team with the relevant stakeholders, looking at how then do we develop a national action plan focusing on youth, peace and security. Are we together? Tulianzisha maongezi, inception meetings to discuss on how do we develop a national action plan on youth, peace and security. Because we realize that this segment of the community is very important. This segment of the population has so much opportunities. So, because that resolution was passed in the year 2015, like 3 years ago. There was a conference for youth in Amman. So there was a kind of a declaration that we need to have a resolution, and there was that push at the UN level. So we want as a country to be the first ones to work on that action plan. And that action plan has 5 pillars. The pillar on participation of the youth in decision making and other processes. It has a pillar on prevention, protection. There is the aspect of partnership, and that is why we are here today, because we realized we can't do it alone as a country, as a ministry, we can't do it alone. We will require concerted efforts from the different agencies, the research institutions, the media, the youth organizations, the CSO component, the faith-based component. So there is the aspect of partnership in terms of building their capacity, in terms of resource mobilization, and in terms of provision of technical support. So the other pillar in this action plan 2250 is on DDR, disengagement and rehabilitation. So a lot of youth involvement will be heavy, especially if you consider the CVE aspect. So it will really be heavy on all that. But what we are saying is that there is a lot that is in store for the youth. It's only that we have not supported them to step out and see the opportunities that that the country and the government has in store for them. So those are the few remarks that I would like to make, and I would really, request every one of us to participate, to contribute to the discussions of the day. So thank you so much, Dr. Truvena and team, and your participants for giving me this time. I hope I've not consumed a lot.
Thank you so much, Ms. Vilka. Now I give the floor to Mr. Sultan Suleiman, host coordinator for PeaceNet Kenya.
Habari usiku tena. Kama alivyoongea ndugu yangu, kwa majina ni Suleiman sana. Mimi nitaongea kidogo kuhusiana na PeaceNet. Kwanza nashukuru kwa nyote kufika. Vile vile nashukuru kwa nyote kutenga muda wenu kwa wakati ule tulipokuwa tunafuatilia hizi shughuli za kunukuu ama collect data kuhusiana na hii research yote kwa jumla. PeaceNet ni shirika ambalo liko Nairobi, lakini ni shirika ambalo linafanya shughuli katika maeneo 47, county 47. Mbali na hiyo, mimi ndiye Coast Regional Coordinator wa PeaceNet. Vile vile PeaceNet inaunganisha mashirika ikiwemo washiriki kuhusiana na mambo ya amani mashinani. Mbali na hiyo, hii research tulifanya kama vile tulijitokeza March tarehe 26 mpaka tarehe 31, ambapo tulishiriki katika kuingia mashinani, na na imani katika nyote wale ambao tuingia na nyinyi mashinani mlitupatia katika yale ambayo tulikuwa tunayafuatilia. Mbali ya kuwa tulitembelewa na watu tofauti, lakini na imani katika yale ambayo tuliwachangia wakati ule, ndio ambao tulisema na tukaweka ahadi kuwa baada ya yote tutakaa chini, tuyatathmini na kuweka pamoja, tuje tupatiane hii report kwa siku ambayo itakuwa inastahili. Kwa hivyo natarajia kwanza leo tutashiriki kikamilifu katika mazungumzo, katika kule kuelezana katika yale ambayo tumeyachambua tukaweka pamoja na yale ambayo tutakuwa tuko nayo, ili tuikamilishe kamilifu shughuli. Na kwa kifupi, sitataka kutumia maneno mengi, isipokuwa leo ni ile hali ambayo tunahitajika tuone vipi ambavyo tutashiriki. Bali nao nasema asanteni, naomba tushiriki sote pamoja.
Now, after the presentation of the video, whatever questions you may have or additions.
My name is Dr. Trofena Mukuna. I am the Executive Director of Organization for.
Whatever questions you may have or additions to it, or whatever is not clear, please just write it down. Then we shall come back to it during the plenary session. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Trofena Mukuna. I am the Executive Director of Organization for Social Science Research in Eastern and Southern Africa, based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. I'm here to take you through the research journey that we have done in collaboration with BizNet Kenya, IGAD C1, and also partnering with IDRC, who are our donors. This is a response to a call for proposals sent out by the Department of Governance and Justice at IDRC. Welcome to this research on youth inclusive mechanisms in preventing and countering violent extremism in the IGAD region. Our research journey starts with our inception meeting in Nairobi. After we received funding from IDRC, we started with an inception meeting where we invited various stakeholders to come and share our idea and feed into it. We shared with them our objectives, we shared with them our methodology, and we needed their input into what we were going to do. Our objectives are four. Based on the drivers of violent extremism. Secondly, we were looking at the policy environment. Thirdly, the interventions that have been in place to prevent or counter violent extremism in the IGAD region. And lastly, we were looking at what has worked, what has not worked, and why. While we were doing all this, we mainstreamed gender in all the activities and objectives. Our methodology is innovative in such a way that we are bringing on board all the stakeholders who are the beneficiaries of this research project. We have academia, we have media, the CSOs, we have the security personnel, we have policy makers on board. Our idea is we want to share with them, we want to work with them throughout this journey and share with them the findings of this research outlook.
In Uganda, we also had an inception workshop that highlights and emulates the same objective that we had in Nairobi, Kenya, because we have the same methodology, the same objective, the same research questions that we are pursuing. So it was represented by government officials at a very high level, civil society organizations, academia, people from the media, and people from various backgrounds. And the intention is to have different views on how to include youth in designing mechanisms that are inclusive, and youth should be part and parcel of prevention and countering violent extremism. And therefore, the Ugandan government embraced this entirely, and we started working with the government of Uganda to guide us and work bring up an inclusive mechanism that would benefit not only Uganda, Kenya, but also in the IGAD region. And therefore, there was need to have a very clear methodology and ways by which we will be collecting data from Uganda and Kenya on the basis that these issues are very sensitive and requires a unique way of collecting data and not necessarily the social science research methodology that people use, the traditional research methodology that people use in academia and so forth. But this one was unique, and therefore we had to refine our tools. We had to look at how to securitize the research, how it matters, and how governments view us while collecting data because of the sensitivity of the research. And therefore we had a meeting, we had a research methodology training in Mombasa that included the intelligence gathering research methods, which was offered to us by security personnel from both Kenya and Uganda, on top of what we already know in the novel research methodology. And this intelligence gathering research helps us to differentiate what is sensitive for government and what needs to go for this research. And therefore there was harmonization, and the government of Uganda and Kenya welcomed this approach, this methodology, the ways by which we collected data. Very, very, very interesting and very, very important. And this has paved us the way to prepare ourselves and have a well-refined tool to go back to go to the community, to go and start doing our baseline studies. So that was very important. This is another unique contribution that this research has brought.
After the research team was trained, there was need to also train the research assistants who were going to be data collectors in the field. Now, in both Kenya and Uganda, we made this a very serious priority. There are three things that we had in our ethical considerations. The first one was we needed a permit, a research permit from the Kenyan government and also the Ugandan research authorities. Then the idea of getting consent from the participants, who are the ones who are responding to the research issues that we were raising, and thirdly, getting consent from the local authorities whom we were working with, because they were the gatekeepers. We couldn't get into the community without the local authorities. Now, this research that we are doing is about the micro level and the macro level of research, because we are looking at the individual, the household, and the issues of youth inclusive mechanisms, and also looking at it at the national and the policy level, merging this together. It is a bottom-up, top-down approach to research.
During our inception meetings in Kenya and Uganda, we were advised that there are areas of concentration that should be part of our sample research areas. And these requests were mostly being recommended on the basis that the government had already some idea and it on what we would be getting. And therefore, we followed these ideas, we followed this advice very strictly. And also, on the policy level, we were advised by IDRC that there are certain key spot areas that it would be interesting for the intergovernmental organizations and it would benefit IGAD at that policy level. And therefore, we included quite a number of areas and sampled these areas concentrated in specific areas in Kenya and in Uganda. And this gave us opportunity to use all the tools that we needed, both the quantitative tools that Dr. Trofena has mentioned, and also the qualitative data, including focus group discussions observations, interviews, and so forth. And therefore, it became very, very good that we had a very good mix of sample of our respondents and data.
As mentioned earlier, we had various data collection methods. Because this is a mixed method group, we needed to hybrid and do a triangulation of our findings. And to start with, the focus group discussions were not homogeneous. We separated the men and female youth. Then there was a mixed group where we brought them together to find out what their views were. We also separated the local leaders, the community members. We separated them and met them separately, male and female. But also we had a mixed group that we brought together so that we can compare their perceptions on the issues of youth inclusive mechanisms in preventing and countering violent extremism, specifically the drivers, the policy environment, the interventions that are in place, what has worked, what has not worked, and why.
And therefore we got key informants carefully selected, and some of them were chosen on the basis that we snowball, on the basis that we would know one person, and then we snowball and add more key informants. These were from youth leaders who were very, very important for us, and they deal directly with things, both male and female. We had religious organizations of different denominations, not just one religious group. We also had civil society organizations, including women associations from all dimensions who are dealing with issues of violent extremism from both Kenya and Uganda. We had government officials, as mentioned before, very important and key because of the role that this research would actually play to give the government the opportunity to have these two mechanisms to involve youth. So government officials were also included. We had academia from both tertiary, secondary, and sometimes also mostly from the university. And we talked to vice chancellors, we talked to professors, we talked to various academic personnel in both Kenya and Uganda. Most importantly, we had security actors involved, both in Kenya and in Uganda. And in some cases, we have been advised that today we may not go into certain areas, tomorrow it will be unsafe. So all these actors were very, very, very important in coining and putting together this research process.
So after we had collected the data every day, we had a debrief. This was very important to just help us, bring us up to speed to know how are we performing. Throughout the research journey and throughout the field work, we were with the field team, the research team. The research team which composed of business, IDRC official, we also had the Australia and IGAD officials. We were with them throughout to ensure quality of the research. We also participated in collection of the data. At the end of the day, we would meet and sit through all that we have done so that we can know the way forward and make changes that are necessary, if any. So our research group was in the field for 2 weeks in Kenya and 2 weeks in Uganda. We were the IDRC1, Australia, and BizNet together with our researchers. Together with them, we were also accompanied with the government officials. They were with us all through. After every day, we sat together and had a debrief. In this debrief, we were interested in knowing how far we are going, are we collecting the right information and data, what challenges were our research team members experiencing, and we would solve them at that particular time. It was highly participatory.
Beyond the daily debrief that Dr. Trufe has mentioned, for each country and for each group and for every day that was being done and conducted, we also had final debrief for Uganda, final debrief for Kenya. And the responsible people, the responsible research assistants who were heading the researchers together with us were called and convened to go through the material that we have collected to assess the situations that they encountered. A very important report. This was key. This was very important for us. And the debriefs were all fantastic in both countries. And therefore now we have come to a stage where we did the desktop review, which is also a very important report to understand what is out there in literatures. And we have proceeded to analyze the data and put it together in a report. And this report is what we want to present to you today. The purpose is to make you understand and evaluate and validate the information we have represented in this report truly reflects the views of the stakeholders we have met and the views of the people that we interviewed and collected data from. And it is an important document that the government and IGAD can embrace. So this is what we are presenting to you today. And we are grateful if you can put your effort together and give us your input so that we refine some of the information that might have been overrepresented in the report or underrated in the report, so that we can have a very up-to-date report for IGAD and the respective countries of the IGAD.
So this having been an action research, we welcome you to give us input into our research findings so that we develop a research evidence paper that will be the basis for the development of a training manual for TOTs of various categories. We have identified the civil society organizations, the security personnel, academia, media practitioners who will all use this manual in looking at issues of violent youth, inclusive mechanisms in preventing and countering violent extremism. After the manual, we are going to go into piloting the manual in the areas where we collected the data, because these are the same people who have contributed to the development of the manual. It is from there also that we will also have a learning alliance. This will be an online platform which will be at two levels. We shall have the local level and also the policy level. Thereafter, we will do an endline survey to assess our achievement of the interventions that we have put in place. Thank you very much. Walk with us through this journey.
So much. So questions about the video will come later. Now, Professor Sunday will present literature review on preventing and countering violent extremism in the
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I don't speak Swahili, so I can't greet you well. Doesn't mean I'm disrespecting you. I'm sure that some of you know me and we have met while we were conducting the data collection activities here in May, June, in April, May. So I'm really grateful, and part of my activity is to present to you what others have written in this topic, in this issue. There are people who have done research, people who have written about violent extremism, especially about youth. So we cannot say, well, our research comes from somewhere which is totally different. There are people who have done that in Syria, in Afghanistan, in other countries. So we want to recognize the originality of other activities, of other work that has been done. So my work is to present to you. I've already introduced myself to you before, but for those who came late, these are my names. You can call me any name, Sunday, Angoma, Okela, I don't mind. My title is Assistant Professor at the University of Addis Ababa, and I'm the Principal Investigator for this research. So I'm grateful. This is not Nairobi. This is supposed to be Mombasa, and I'm sorry I could have changed this. But the rest are okay. Now let us look at the context and the background of violent extremism in the IGAD region, as in general. I'm focusing on the IGAD region because we want this information to go to the IGAD. And Mombasa will be one of the case study that represents part of Kenya's report to the IGAD. And it goes into the Kenya strategy as well. So in the IGAD region, there are predominantly known issues that IGAD is geographically placed as a place with accident of geography. This is the UNDP saying that. What does it mean? It means IGAD region has very specific location and very specific issues that puts it to be in a very vulnerable position sometimes. And the accidents of its location along the coastline of the Indian Ocean, and we're having the Persian Gulf countries on the other side, that also practices different religion, affects the region directly. So it's important accident of geography because of the borderlines, and internally also we see quite a number of diverse groups of people who live within IGAD region. Religious compositions vary quite a lot. We have predominantly Muslim in certain areas, predominantly Christians, and so forth. Of course, also economically, and we look at so many issues of marginalization from different sections. And all this has been described by UNDP as a region of an accident of geography. But people disagree with that. So that is what is in the literature. There is quite a lot of persistence of conflict in the IGAD region. Since the 60s, most of the countries in the IGAD region have suffered a lot of changes of government violently. If you look at Somalia, you look at Eritrea, came as a result of liberation movement fighting for many, many years and took over government by gun. Kenya has never changed government using guns, like military coup. But through elections, it has its own dynamics. If you go to Uganda, through liberation movement, Uganda has never changed any government by peacefully handing over power to the next president. It has always been through gun, ever since. Nobody knows the next one. If you go to Sudan, you go to Rwanda, you go to Burundi, you go to DRC, all these regions, all these countries have been through military coups. So even if we are practicing certain forms of democratic governance, but their background seems to be taking that shape. For Kenya and Tanzania, the context seems to be varied a little bit. But we are not saying that Kenya doesn't have violence. So we need to know that. And I talked about the absence of state structures, fragility and collapse of states. At some point, Uganda was completely gone during Idi Amin's time, 70s, 80s, until maybe Museveni came to power. Somalia, the same thing. And internally, we see now Ethiopia also struggling. And then there's a worldview and vulnerability about youth who are now beginning to be more vulnerable, and they're living in despair from the loss of hope. Most youth are losing hope and patience. They are beginning to be very vulnerable to radicalization. As far as giving them $100, $200, they will do anything for you. Because of the loss of hope, they are vulnerable, and they can join extremist groups, violent behaviors, and violent extremism is growing and changing in dynamics in the region. And, well, you take Al-Shabaab, the name Al-Shabaab simply means disgruntled youth that can be nurtured youth. So let's be in this background, let's understand this. The IGAD is also host to the largest population of refugees in Africa. There's so many refugees who live in Kenya, so many refugees who live in Uganda, so many refugees who live in Ethiopia. Even if Uganda is very unstable, there are refugees. Even if Ethiopia is unstable, there are refugees who come there. Even if Kenya has its own problem, there are refugees who are coming there. So these refugees are also source of recruitment. If they become vulnerable, they get educated, they get to know what is going around, they can be recruited. The closure of Kakuma camp and other camps in Kenya could have also contributed to the recruitment of new members of Al-Shabaab. Countries of IGAD tend to accuse each other that Eritrea is hosting Al-Shabaab. And Kenya says, please, we have a problem. Ethiopia, you should do this. And these accusations between countries is also tending to annoy heads of states or governments saying, why do you accuse me for nothing? If that is the case, okay, I will do it. So there are accusations which are going on within governments, not all. Primarily Eritrea has been mentioned